Now, Super Mario Odyssey was a masterpiece on the Switch and a blah 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 blah, we all know this. However, while it's certainly a good game, it also has some flaws. Not in the game design department, but actually glitches, because my lord, there are quite a lot of them. And what we want to find out today is what kind of glitches can you perform using your beautiful little cap, either by messing with the throwing itself, or just by capturing something with it and then getting a beautiful effect. So we will start off right away. First up, a glitch called dog jumping in air. Now, if Mario bounces off a dog when it's in mid-air, the dog will remain there for a little while before jumping again. Repeating this glitch allows you to gain immense jumping height as long as you keep performing cap throws in between to maintain height. This glitch can be performed in any kingdom the dog appears in, though the Moon Kingdom is the easiest for performing this neat little trick. Now, you can basically go to infinity and beyond using the dog seen in this game. Now, why this happens is a bit weird, and we only have one explanation for it. The dog is kind of stuck in doing whatever it needs to do first, which is finishing the animation or waiting to get out of a busy state. And if you're fast enough, you can throw your hat, so when he gets out of this state, your hat is in place and ready. For some reason, the game thinks that our piece of headwear has a higher priority than getting the dog on the ground, and so you get a dog going up and up and up. It's quite a fun trick and not too hard to pull off in the Moon Kingdom. So, nice Nintendo, good job. Now let's move on to our next little trick, floating Hammerbro. In the Luncheon Kingdom, there's an area with some Hammerbros and some cheese rocks that you need to break for a power moon. If you manage to perform a cap throw in the Hammerbro atop the question mark blocks, so that it lands on an object, it will begin floating in a seemingly random direction, and all of it will return to normal when it finally touches the ground again. It seems like the turnip kind of bugs out the enemy jumping physics. Well, we think this is the case at least. The angle you do it from though makes it hard to see, so we aren't certain about what really happens here. Now, aside from that, it isn't really useful. The dog one could be used to get to certain spots in the game, but this just floats away and does nothing really. It's quite funny to see it though.
Now, the next thing on the list is frog swimming in air. And this is also weird. Very, very weird. If Mario manages to capture a frog in mid-air while bouncing on it at the same time, he can swim in the air. This glitch lasts until Mario jumps or decaptures the frog. Now, as you can imagine, this is incredibly useful and looks, let's say, beyond amazing. And of course, you can skip stuff with it. If you manage to perform this glitch in the darker side, you can skip the vast majority of the level. Very useful, as you can imagine. However, there is also a much darker side to this trick that isn't seen as much. It all goes wrong as soon as you start exploring and looking for the edge of it all. Never go too far. Because if you travel out of bounds while performing this glitch in the darker side and decapture the frog, he will fall indefinitely without even taking damage. And if you attempt to pause, Mario's and Cappy's model on the pause screen become increasingly corrupted. So you can completely mess the game up and borderline destroy the visuals. So it's handy and fun, but can also break the game a bit. I mean, that's fun and all, but it can actually get even more wacky, because you can also create super enemies. Our upcoming glitch is called Invincibro and allows you to fight the ultimate foe. In the Wooded Kingdom, there is a Firebro inside a cage you're meant to open with Cappy. If you use a glitch to get out of bounds and reach said cage while still having Cappy, you can then capture him and position him near the gate to get him outside of the room. And now the absolute magic will happen, because the game kind of loses its sense. Once you've done all this, the Firebro's AI breaks, and he ends up being invincible to your jumps or attacks. He also jumps upwards when you land on him, which in turn causes you and the Firebro to rise in the air at high speed, and with this, you can reach various otherwise inaccessible areas. So you can either have a fight you basically can't win, or go to some weird places in the map. Certainly a nice trick. Now, we think we know why this happens. This Firebro was designed and probably programmed for a specific scenario. And since you take him out of that, he kind of glitches out because a certain trigger never ends up enabling certain fractions of his AI. So it's kind of stuck in a cycle of nothingness, which is handy for us because he's an incredibly useful ladder. Now for our next glitch, we aren't going for messing with physics, but actually getting rid of some visuals. Our next glitch is called Invisible Cappy, which makes her head disappear, as you could have expected. In the Launchian Kingdom, if you manage to perform a cap throw near an NPC and kick a bean at the same time, Cappy will turn invisible. Now, all of this can luckily be fixed if you just perform another cap throw. Simple enough. The funny thing is, you can still see Cappy's eyes after doing this, giving it a bit of a strange look. Not very useful, but it's still good for a fun visual. Now, our next little magic trick actually comes with a warning, because this can totally corrupt your save data, making the file unplayable. So don't do this on your main account, because then all your moons will be gone. It's called Defeat a Captured Piranha Plant and actually isn't performed in the normal single-player game. You need to go into co-op mode. If the one playing as Mario captures a poison piranha plant or a fire piranha plant, the other playing as Cappy can defeat it. Cappy can still move around, but the game will freeze and eventually crash if Cappy gets stuck in a different piranha plant. So not very useful, but it does make it quite clear that some elements of the co-op feature are a bit buggy. Capturing these enemies is already really rare to see, because there is never a moment that you actually have to. Now, you can become this enemy in normal gameplay, it just requires some effort for no reward really. And thanks to this, it seems like there are still some glitches related in the game that were never removed. But like we already said, don't try this at home.
Now let's move on to our final glitch. Yes, I know it's sad that it's almost over, but there aren't an infinite amount of them. This one is called gushin bouncing indefinitely. And yet again, this kind of messes with the game in a major way. During either battle with Molotchkia Launcher, if you decapture a gushin and then recapture it just as it falls onto the boss, you will indefinitely move upward. Now from this point onward, you cannot decapture it or pause the game. There's only one way of escaping this trap: turning off the console completely. That's why it kind of breaks the game. Now what really happens here is unknown to us, sadly enough, but it seems like the physics of the bounce or hit it should take kind of bugs out. It's not useful at all, and the only reason why you would do it is for the fun effect. But you also need to reset the console. So yeah, our final one was a bit useless, and no, we aren't going to cover the Talkatoo glitch that everyone used to cheat the jump rope minigame, because we already did a video on that. We will link it in the upper right corner so you can check it out right away. But when it comes to this video, we are done. And maybe in time, more glitches will be found. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Voiceovering this was a complete hell, so please give us a like, because for me personally this was hell. Help. I'm terrible.